So I watched the next episode of that team out west, and Scott Anderson, man, that guy's good. that guy is really, really good. So the second episode was all about physicality. This is not an accident. Nothing that Oregon does on social media or in the media landscape is by accident. And the reason I say that is there's a question, there's a generalized narrative, and Joel Klatt was talking about it in this particular episode, about can Oregon match up to the physicality? Can they adapt to the style of play? Can they adapt to the Big Ten? Because they've been playing in the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 is soft, and that's just, all this yada, 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 all that sort of stuff. So I don't think it's an accident that they were focused on physicality. A couple of takeaways. Number one, I fully expect Oregon's offensive and defensive lines to hold up on a weekly basis in the Big Ten. I don't say that because I watched this video. I say that because those are the sorts of players that Oregon has brought into the program. And I think highlighting that for fans that maybe have tuned out a lot during the summer, which I think is the best part of all of this, is to excite the fans who say, all right, college football ended 6 months ago with, when the transfer portal was not even open yet. And like, I watched the spring game, but I haven't really tuned in since then. I think this is who that Team Out West videos are mostly for. They're not videos, they're mini movies. I mean, these are over 30 minutes long, many, many hours of getting film and editing, production, and all that sort of stuff. But I think that they're incredibly well put together, really fun to watch. I love the behind-the-scenes access. And Wilson Love, Oregon's strength and conditioning coach, I think that's who he is. Because a lot of strength and conditioning coaches are like that. They're weird, but in like a fun, playful, exciting, goofy sort of way. And what I'm enjoying most about these episodes are the way that you get to see what meeting rooms are actually like. And for anyone whose instinct would be, well, they know the cameras aren't, or the room's really like that. I haven't been in those Oregon rooms before, though we kind of are being taken behind the scenes. But I've been in other football locker rooms, team meetings, interactions that are, not on camera generally. That's what they're like. That is what they are genuinely like. There is no, play it up for the cameras and make it do. No, this is just what it looks like. This is what it sounds like. And I think that's fantastic. So I'm loving these episodes. I can't wait for the next one. I think it's a great way to build the anticipation for the season. And I hope they do this every year. Just like I hope they continue to do the cinematic recaps. Ducks versus them that they did after every win last season. Like I thought those were outstanding. And I think they're just more than anything, people can say, well, they're just trying to get attention, trying to do this. I think it's just a great thing for Oregon fans to watch and further the connection with the team. Because when you see behind the scenes stuff and you see the way these guys act with one another, the coaches, the players, and how they talk to each other and what it's like to be in a meeting and all that sort of stuff, the overwhelming majority of fans never get to see that. And kudos to Dan Lanning for allowing this to be, he's not a big media guy. I think we can establish that pretty clearly at this point. Post-practice in particular, he's pretty short with his answers. He wants to just get in. I have to do is get out and whatnot. Like he's not a guy who likes to stand up there and give a bunch of sermons and talk a whole bunch. Like he just wants to get to work. And I think this doesn't interfere with him doing that sort of work. And that's why he's allowing it. But I think it's just such a cool thing for fans to be able to see. What's it like to be at practice? What's it like to be in a team meeting? How do you go from here to there? I saw the photo of them climbing Spencer's Butte again and honoring Spencer Webb and Kyrie Jackson. But what's it like to be up there? What does it feel like to hear Lanning talk about two former players who he obviously loved and was so excited to see go on in their careers, and to have that taken away in tragic fashion? Like, what's it like to see the head coach talk about that when you're up in that particular moment? I think all that access is just so cool for fans, and why I'm really glad that they're doing it, and I hope that that they continue. In a football sense, Kyler Casper made a sweet catch from Dante Moore. Just file those names if you're not an everydayer out there. File that connection away in your memory bank for 2025. Just think about it. Dante Moore, Kyler Casper, touchdown. Just think about it. Just think about it. And my everydayers out there, you know why I'm telling other people to think about it. So I thought it was great. Like, I thought the episode, the way that they're defining the themes and playing that throughout the course of the episode is really cool. The interviews that the players are doing, the personalities, like, I think it's great. If you haven't checked these out, they're on Twitter, they're on YouTube. Just look them up. Easy to find. There are 2 episodes out now. There will be 2 more released because we're that close to the Oregon football season going into the year, and I can't wait to watch them. I can't wait to watch them. My excitement mounts every time that I see them. Back into the mailbag here to wrap up this particular segment. Still plenty more coming on the show. You need not worry. This from Blazer Duck, a regular listener. Spencer, do you see a scenario where Boise State is ranked week 2 to play Oregon? With Oregon's schedule and being in the Big Ten, does it even matter if Boise State is ranked when we play them? Thanks. Answer, no, it does not. It does not matter. First of all, Boise State, not a preseason top 25 team, will not be ranked in the top 10 by the time they play Oregon because they only have 1 game, and I forget who their opponent is. Let me double check that real quick just so that they play at Georgia Southern. That game is not going to catapult them into the top 25. But for Oregon, that doesn't matter. All the Ducks are trying to accomplish in the first 5 weeks of the season, don't have any scares, right? Avoid a big shocking upset because I would be shocked if they lose any of those 5 football games against Idaho, Boise State, Oregon State, UCLA, Michigan State. They should go 5-0. They should win every game by 10 or more points. Usually more, if we're being honest. Boise State's probably the toughest of those 5 games. But does it matter if they're ranked? Not a ton, because Boise State, they're not at a place right now. It's not what they were in their heyday. They're still, a top tier program in the Mountain West. They're the reigning conference champions, and they're the favorites. They're a heavy favorite in the Mountain West going into this season. By the end of the year, yeah, it could bolster Oregon's resume a little. It's not going to make a huge impact. If Oregon's 11-1, the Boise State game doesn't matter. If Oregon's 10-2, and let's say they lose to Ohio State and Wisconsin, but they beat Michigan, that Boise State game, it could have a minimal impact on how the committee views them and whether they should be, a playoff team and what it does for their strength of schedule if the Broncos have stacked up wins and they're, 10-2 or 11-1 in the regular season and their only losses to Oregon. Yeah, maybe it could help a little. I don't think it's going to do a lot. Shouldn't matter whether or not they're ranked in week 2 because then they won't be ranked the following week after Oregon beats them at Austin. So I think that Boise State game I talked about a little bit on yesterday's show. I think it's the toughest of the first 5 games. I think Oregon finally gets that monkey off their back and beats Boise State. Ignorance is bliss for Dan Lanning when it comes to that matchup. But at home, yeah, Oregon should be absolutely fine.